Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Balcom, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about... That's it. I'm getting out of this godverdomme house. So we've made it to this beautiful springtime forest in the outskirts of The Hague, and the purpose of today's video is to show you how I make money with microstock photography. For those new to my channel, my name is Andrew Balcom. I'm an Australian microstock photographer and videographer based in the Netherlands. And I've got a few thousand images up across 8 stock agency websites and roughly about 100 videos. So today I'm going to take you across my earnings for each agency for the month of March, and between each one of those agencies I'm going to give some tips about how I go about making money out of microstock photography. So in no particular order, we'll start off with my microstock agency Shutterstock. I did notice around halfway through the month that my downloads were getting fewer and fewer. That's because I don't have a lot of images or videos to do with the coronavirus. I know that some stock photographers like Alex at Brutally Honest Microstock, he really went for it this month with coronavirus images, and also Steve Heap at Backyard Silver. Both of them really went for it regarding coronavirus imagery. They made more this month than in a lot of the previous months, whereas I'm a bit in reverse. I wasn't that interested in covering the coronavirus issue, and I paid for it a little bit in sales. But having said that, my month wasn't too bad. Some highlights for Shutterstock this month was that I sold 14 photos just to do with flowers and the flower fields around Lissa and the Kokenhof. And I took those photos a few years ago, and they're really selling this time of year because it's springtime, and that's when the Kokenhof and the flower fields really come into bloom and attract a lot of tourists. Of course, now there's no tourists because of the pandemic, but it's still making the news. So I made quite a good volume of sales regarding the flowers across all of the agencies. Also in the first half of this month I made 2 video sales. One was of the dead gannet on the beach, and the other one was of the city skyline and a canal leading towards the skyline and a boat on that canal. The gannet made me $22.51, and the one of the canal and the skyline made $26.48. Another highlight of the month was that I sold a photo of these wind turbines with a bright blue sky behind it, and that sale made $3.36. A tip for making money out of microstock is to try and take images within your local area as much as possible. And this month alone I've noticed that most of my sales were made within 15 minutes of my home or were made within the Netherlands. So you don't really have to go outside or go on these massive travel journeys to make money out of microstock. My biggest sales that have made thousands of dollars were actually made on a beach 20 minutes from my home. And regarding the coronavirus images for this month with Shutterstock, I only sold one coronavirus, and I uploaded that really late when the Netherlands was in the middle, just making sure I'm not getting covered in red ants. when the Netherlands was in the middle of the pandemic, and I've only made about 4 or 5 photos. And the photo that I sold was of some gateways blocked off at Amsterdam Central Station with a big coronavirus information sign behind it. But that only made me 36 cents from a subscription. Okay, in total for Shutterstock this month, combined video and photo sales, I made $90. So I'm just walking along this narrow path and I've come across this huge nest of red ants. And there must be hundreds of thousands of the ants in this nest. It's pretty amazing to see. Okay, so my next agency is Dreamstime, and on Dreamstime I've got roughly 2,046 images and about 15 or 20 videos. It's not very strong in videos, so I really never expect any sales for them. I mainly expect sales for images. This month I had 16 downloads from Dreamstime, and a couple of the highlights were of photo of the wind turbines with the nice blue background sky that I also sold on Shutterstock. There must be some theme about sustainable energy going around this month. Maybe it's to do with social isolation or quarantining, where you're using your own means for your own energy needs. And that photo made 88 cents. Another photo was of a 747 of KLM taking off from the Dutch airport Schiphol, and that was in the news this month because KLM have stopped using those massive aircraft, and they're going with newer, maybe more modern aircraft such as the Boeing Dreamliner. So that was in the news, and from that photo I made 35 cents. Okay, another photo was of a flock of wild mallard ducks that had a beautiful sky background, and they were just beautifully lit in the sun, and you could see all the colours and details of their feathers, and that photo made $2. But my biggest highlight for Dreamstime this month was of a VW Combi at an outdoor VW exhibition that was being held in The Hague. And from that photo I made $13. And a couple of tips about making photos around the area that you live in is look in the agenda of the social events and other events that are taking place in your area in advance. And that's what I did with the VWs. I found out that there was going to be this exhibition, and I went there and I took about probably 200 photos and uploaded about 60 to 70. And those editorial photos that I made have made hundreds of dollars for me. And the exhibition was, 15 minutes from my home. Didn't cost me anything except for drinks and food, and I've made hundreds from that. Another tip is take photos of subjects that you love. And my passion is for wildlife and nature photography. So if ever I'm out, I love just taking photos of the birds and other wildlife. And that photo of the mallard ducks, when it sold, was really delightful. And another point of photographing what you love is during those boring uploads with all the captioning and key wording, if you're doing it with a subject that you find boring, then you can burn out on it pretty quick. However, if you mix up your workflow with some images that you know will be profitable but are boring to you, with images that you find interesting and stimulating, then that'll make your workflow a lot smoother, and you won't burn out in the process, and you'll be motivated to keep doing it. Another tip is, for example, that photo I took of the 747 with KLM, is that was in the news. So if you follow your local, national and international news, then you will have a chance of making more money. news images sell. This one of KLM, I didn't even know that that was in the news. I just went out to the airport and spent the day photographing aircraft taking off and landing because I found it interesting and I knew that those photos would sell. But this was an extra bonus, that if something happens with that airline company that you're photographing as an editorial image, then in the future that image is going to sell. If you want to do commercial images of those photos, then you have to take off all the logos and recognizable symbols and text on the aircraft. That can be a lot of work, but often that will pay off too. And you can sell the images for commercial, and often those prices are sometimes higher. Okay, my next agency is iStock Photos Getty Images. I only record my earnings from this agency when I get a payout, and that's roughly every 2 to 3 months. So this month I was lucky enough to get paid out by iStock, and it was a total of $112. My next agency is Deposit Photos Now, and I made a total of $3 from Deposit Photos this month. For 123RF I have a total of 1,300 images, and this month I had 10 downloads and I made $9. The highlight of this agency was a photo of a recycling depot where there were about 3 or 4 recycling bins where you can put different plastics and other items in. And sustainability and recycling is another strong subject. Also, it follows on with my interest in the environment and nature. So I was happy to make a $3.45, an ant on my head. So I was happy to make a $3.45 sale out of that. On Adobe Stock I have 800 images in my portfolio and 24 videos. And this month I had 17 downloads and I made $16. And my next agency is Pond5, and Pond5 is a bit of an all or nothing agency for me. Most of my video sales only come from Shutterstock, but every once in a blue moon I have a good month with Pond5. And strangely enough, this month was a good month for me. I made 3 video sales. All of my passion, and that's wildlife. The first one was of a seldom seen northern gannet dead on the beach wrapped in plastic, and for that one I made $9.85. The second one was also of unfortunately a dead animal, and that was a harbour porpoise which had washed up on the beach as well, a few minutes from my home, and that image also earned me $9.85. The story with the harbour porpoise is it possibly got caught in a fishing net, and I noticed its fins had been cut off, so maybe the fisherman had cut the fins off in order to get it out of the net. There are a few porpoises around the North Sea coast of the Netherlands, but they are becoming increasingly rare, also because of this bycatch problem. The third video that I sold was of a school of European carp, and I was just in a nature area called the Oostvaardersplassen, and there's a kind of a semi-lake there which is full of these European carp, and I just stood there for 20 minutes and photographed and videoed these carp as they come to the surface and have a look at you when you're standing on this bridge. And that video made me $7.28. So it was a good month for Pond5 because I'm lucky to make one sale on that stock agency, so this was outstanding. And last but not least, I made a rare sale on the stock agency of Alamy, and this was of one of the first stock photos I ever took. And I was out at lunch one day taking my lunch break from work, and I saw this businessman holding a smartphone with the background of a canal behind him. So I took a close-up shot of the smartphone in his hand, and it was just a simple editorial shot. I don't think I even edited out the brand name on the phone. That sale earned me $8.72 on Alamy. Okay, now it's time for the total amount of money that I earned from microstock in the month of March of 2020. But before I do that, if you found any of this video interesting or helpful, feel free to click on the subscribe button and slam on the like button as well, and that'll help me out to get 1,000 subscribers, and maybe one day in the distant future I can monetize this channel and start earning some money from it with a bit of passive income, and that's the name of the game. So if I've helped you in your journey of microstock, then do me a favor and just hit on those buttons. And if you are already subscribed, just hit on the bell notification so that when I have a new video which comes out every week, that you know when it hits your screen. Thanks for that. Okay, without further ado, all of my microstock earnings this month earned me $286. And considering I didn't have any coronavirus images in my portfolio except for maybe 3 or 4, I think that is pretty good. It was lower than the last 2 months, but it definitely beat my December earnings, which I'm really happy about. And to be honest, I've been so busy with work, getting a lot of working at home problems sorted out with IT issues with my computer, and dealing with 3 times the amount of work that I normally do, that I only managed to upload about 16 to 17 images this month. So the effort really wasn't in stock photography or videography this month, but I still managed to make $286. The amount of work that I put in this month for stock photography must have been about 2 hours. So that's not bad residual income for 2 hours work. Okay, so that's it for me for today's video. I'll see you again next week, where I'll be taking product photos inside using natural light. And stay strong, stay fit, and stay happy. All the best.
How's that? Folk. Yeah, it's Peregrine Falcon.
Revenge is mine.